The Malady of the Century by Nolini Kanta Gupta. What is the malady of our age? It is that man has lost touch with his soul. There were ages, no doubt, in the past, dark periods when man's soul retired into the background, was obscured or veiled. But only today there seems to have occurred a definite cleavage, a clear sundering. Man no longer drags the lengthening chain that tied him, in spite of everything, to his divine essence. He has cut it clean and let himself adrift. The eternal enemy appeared and spread out before our enchanted eyes the panorama of earth's riches and glories, not merely riches of comfort and pleasure and well-being, but glories of power and knowledge. We could not resist this time. We hurled ourselves headlong into the valley of temptation, delivering as the price of the bargain our soul. Our mind, our life, and our body have become today far more conscious and consciously powerful. But what was familiarly known as the mind of the mind, the life of the life, the body of the body, has vanished and all it meant. The pith has been taken out. We are now playing with the empty stalk. The secret thread on which the pearls of life movements were strung has been removed, and they lie about scattered and disjointed. We have enriched our possessions. We have made ourselves more complex and multiple in our becoming. The telescope and the microscope in the physical world, and a subtler sense in the mind also, have extended the superficies of our consciousness. But with all that, and in our haste to be busy about too many things, we have forgotten and left out of account the one thing needful. We have sought to increase our consciousness, but away from the center of consciousness. So what we have actually gained is not an increase in the sense of a growth or elevation of consciousness, but an accumulation of consciousness, that is to say, many forms and external powers or applications of consciousness. Cut away from the soul, from the central fount of its being, the human consciousness has been desiccated and pulverized, and bears the appearance of a thirsty, shifting expanse of desert sands. Indeed, a particular aridity has invaded the modern consciousness. The sap has dried that once made life fresh and green and glad. We have the lust for life, but know not the joy of life. We lay an inordinate stress upon the body, upon what is external and superficial, upon the matter of life, and suffer from a simultaneous recoil and disgust for it. Human nature has been rent in twain, and life has lost its unity of rhythm. With our present nature, we not merely enjoy, but we want to know that we enjoy. We cannot enjoy a thing unless, in the very act, we weigh and dissect and scrutinize the object and ourselves too into the bargain. This knowledge, or rather this curiosity, does not arise from any depth of our being. It is the product of the meddlesome, superficial brain mind. We have become self-conscious. A vigilant self-consciousness is now the invariable coefficient of all our movements. It was the soul's consciousness, although perhaps more often from behind the veil, that once inspired and enlivened human nature in its youth. We have deposed the divine king. An anarchy now reigns in human nature, which has become the battleground of qualities and forces that are invariably crooked and perverse. We live and move in the cold and blighting glare of the brain mind. We of the modern age know many things, perhaps too many, and we yearn and strive to know yet more. We are never content with the knowledge that we have at the moment, thinking always that the secret of existence is to be found in what escapes its scrutiny, in what lies just outside the limits of what we happen to know. We are never sure of our knowledge. We are rich in curiosity, subtle in guessing, but always there lacks the sense of assurance and achievement. A certain unrest or malaise pursues our activities, something that gives to our most perfect creation the impress of an experiment, of what is tentative, transitional, temporary. The ancients, on the contrary, knew not many things, not so many as we know, but what they knew well. They were sure of their knowledge. Their creations were not perhaps on the whole as rich and varied and subtle, but they were finished and completed things, net and clear and full of power. The ancient rishis were worshippers of the sun and the day. They were called finders of the day, discoverers of the solar world. They were clear in their thought, direct in their perception. Their feelings, however deep, were never obscure. It is a world of certitude, of solid reality, even if it be on the highest spiritual levels of consciousness, presenting a bold and precise and clear outline. When we hear them speak, we feel they are uttering self-evident truths. There is no need to pause and question. But the spokesman of our age must needs be a riddle even to ourselves. To the moderns, truth is merely relative. The absolute is an ever-receding reality and has only theoretical existence. The true reality, whatever it is, we can never reach or possess. We may say that we are approaching it nearer and nearer, but shall never come up to it. There is no end to our pursuit. It is this movement without end or finality, that is life and all its zest and beauty. The ancients, on the other hand, aimed and worked at Siddhi, that is to say, definite and final achievement. This did not mean, however, that there was a dead stop and they stagnated after Siddhi. It means that the consciousness, having undergone a change in character, takes a different kind of movement altogether. It proceeds now from truth to truth, from light to light, from Siddhi to Siddhi. The modern consciousness moves, on the other hand, from uncertainty to uncertainty, at best from the more obscure to the less obscure. Ours is an age of hunger, hunger for knowledge, for power, for enjoyment. But we do not know, nor care to know, the conditions under which alone such hunger can really be appeased. First of all, we think that to satisfy our hunger, we have simply to go straight and pounce upon the object. We do not consider it at all necessary to look beforehand to our assimilative nature and capacity. Our hunger serves only to multiply the objects of hunger, and the objects of hunger again multiply our hunger. This is the vicious circle in which we are entrapped. We hungered for progress, but what we have succeeded in getting is change and movement, speed and restlessness. We yearned for light. We have found only information. We looked for power. We have mastered a few tricks or clever manipulations. We aspired for happiness. We have stopped with stray pleasures and hence with dissatisfaction. To relieve life of this mingled strain and tension, to lift it out of this ambiguity and uncertainty, to free it from this gravitational force that drives it towards what is superficial and external, to endow it with its real worth, we must find and possess life at a higher level, at its unspoiled source. We must first draw back and re-establish, this time consciously and integrally, the lost connection with our soul, the divine in our being.